What's up guys, and welcome back to Say Cafe with another video, and today we'll be talking about the statement of purpose. And this part of the application is merely personal, meaning that it all depends on your own personal goals after studying in South Korea, your own subject of research, your own plans. So it's basically very personal. But I'll try to give you guys some hints and try to prime you on how to write your own. So we can go ahead and get started with the first part of the question, which talks about the goal of studies. It's basically talking about your goal after finishing your studies in South Korea. And this is very personal, so everyone has his own goals. You could set short-term goals and long-term goals. So you could basically talk about the things you will do immediately after finishing studying here in South Korea. And you could also talk about long-term goal if you have some, like if you're passionate about doing something bigger, either in South Korea or in your country or in other countries, like something very big. You could say that after finishing your studies in South Korea, that's the first step, and then you try to build your long-term goal afterwards. You can use the SMART principle to clearly state your goal. This means that your goal should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So just make sure your goal has these characteristics so it looks good and attractive in your application. It's better to have your goal matched with the general goal of the KGSP. Again, go ahead and check the goal of the entire program to see what they're trying to do and why they're giving money to all of these students, and try to match it with what your goal is. Next, be as specific as possible. Again, like, goals should be specific to show them that you really know what you're doing and you're not just writing that in there. So just be very specific and don't just say my goal is to make people happy, life, blah blah blah, or something like that. I don't know. Next is your subject of research. This is again very personal, and it depends on your own research interest and what you're planning to write about and to study while you're here. Simply state the title of the research you are planning to work on after starting school in Korea. And don't worry guys, because a lot of people have asked me about this one. Don't worry, like the one you've written in your application, or the one you're gonna write in your application, is not necessarily the one you're going or you will have to work on once you arrive here to South Korea. You always have the chance to change it after getting selected. So this is your chance to put a very attractive subject of research in your application to help boost your own and to attract the community's attraction. You can also briefly talk about your subject of research. You could simply talk about the motivation behind it, its significance, why you've decided to work on this one, and the problems it will solve. For example, if you're in technology, you'll talk about, I don't know, what you guys would do to solve our problems. Like, you know the drill. Just try to talk about your goal and why it's significant. Simply show them you know what you are talking about. Just don't like say something very vague again. Like, then say, hey, my goal is to send people to the moon. Like, come on. Just show something that's very realistic and show them, like, you could talk about the steps if you have space in your application, just to show them that you actually know what you're gonna do and you're actually serious about doing it. Next is your detailed study plan. So this one question right here sounded very confusing to me at the very beginning. I didn't know what they're actually asking for, so I had to ask my Korean friend about it. Maybe it was a very common thing in South Korea or something. And what she said is that they're asking how you're going to spend your time studying in South Korea, like your academic time, how we're going to manage it. And they're asking for details concerning that. So things I wrote include details on how a typical academic day or week would look like in South Korea. And this was very, very detailed. Like, I said something like, in the morning I'll go to classes, and then afternoon it's for homework, and at night I'll go to gym or something, And then I went back to the class. I would say I would be very active and interactive in the class, to ask questions here and there and to participate as much as I can, to talk with the teachers on a regular basis, to develop like professional network. And then you could say that you could also join clubs to enrich your experience, and like you could talk about a lot of things to make them know that you're ready to work and compete in the Korean environment, because it's very competitive. Use this to show that you are ready to work very hard and be fully engaged. Just show them that you are a very active student and you're not gonna just come here and be very lazy. This is just another part of personality examination, if you wanna call it. I don't know. Next, don't forget to include your cultural interest in your plan. So you could talk about engaging in extracurricular activities that are like merely culture, or joining clubs that are related to Korean culture, or like just go exploring the culture as it is. Just show or tell them that you're here also to explore their culture, and also to exchange it with your culture, with your own culture. Again, go into details. The question is asking about details, so don't worry if you think it's too detailed. Just go ahead and write every detail right there. As I said, for me it was very detailed, like very detailed. The last question talks about your future plans in Korea or another country. So if you pay close attention, some questions kind of overlap. So you find a question in the first part of the application, and then later on you find a similar question with a different form, and you don't know what to do because you don't want to sound repetitive. So just when you write your answers, make sure to sort them according to which one relates the most to certain questions, and then put them in the right place. So things you could write in here, though this is very personal, include like how you aim to contribute to your community and help solve its problems through applying what you have learned during this program. So again, it depends on the research you're trying to make, or research you're trying to work on while in Korea, and then how it's going to solve certain problems. You can also talk about how to implement your goal of study either in Korea or elsewhere. So if your research is going to solve a problem that is exclusive in South Korea, then you could talk about how this is going to solve this certain problem which Koreans have. Plans that focus on Korea or try to solve a Korean problem look much more attractive. Again, remember their own goals. You make your own research, you know what the goals are, and then try to align your future plans with their own goals. At the end, guys, just make sure you are worth their investment. Like your goal, your research, your character, and your future plans are all worth investing money in, because at the end of the day, they're gonna make sure they select the promising candidates. They know they're gonna give them back what they want, or they meet their general goals. Alright, that's it for today, guys. If you have not watched the previous videos, make sure you watch them, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you again, and see you very soon.